We need to make up some damper valves that are going to control our gas coming in and our air coming in, so we can set a mixture with our control cables. There I got a piece of pipe, same OD as the 2-inch PVC that we'll plumb all the gas lines in with. 3 inches long, drill a 3/8 hole, and you can't see it yet, but it's just a little bit off center. That's going to help the leverage of the flapper valve. These are super simple to build. So you got a piece of pipe that you're going to use, whatever size bolt you want. I'm using a 3/8 on mine just because that's all I have that is long enough to pass all the way through. There you can see how it's just a little bit offset. Cut out a disc or whatever type of material you want to use. Fender washers work really good for this. I didn't have the right size, so I hole sawed out some 3/16 plate. It's just what I had. And on your offset, when you set this piece in here, you want it sitting down towards the offset, because these are only going to open one direction, up. Now once they're welded in place, like this one here, you can see it comes down to that low side. I guess I can put that on the bottom, and it stops. So it's got a built-in stopper, and it can only go so far the opposite direction. And you want to make sure these are nice and, you know, free moving. This is what you're going to hook your control cables up to that are in the dash. We need 4 of these. I already got 3 built. I got 1 more to go. Let me get this welded in here real quick. There's the last one all welded up. The nice thing about building them this way, and I'm not taking any credit for this, this is Wayne's design when he originally built these. He probably had some other valves, but this is the one that he goes with nowadays. So this, excuse me, these are, you know, only going to open one way. So that only gives you one direction of rotation, right? No, because you can flip the thing around. So no matter where your cable comes out of the firewall to hook up to this, you can put an arm on the end of the threads right here, which is what I'll probably end up doing, a little piece of flat stock about that long, and then you can hook your cable to it. Then the only thing you need to worry about is holding the sheathing on the cable so it doesn't try to move. And the way that Wayne does this, and I thought it was absolutely genius, weld a nail to it and then bend the nail to the direction your cable's coming in, and a little cable clamp, and that holds your cable sheathing. Then you hook your cable up to wherever the arm needs to be positioned, and if you get it wrong, you just have a jam nut on either side. Loosen the jam nut up, move the arm till it's in the position you want, and it'll freely move. Very simple solution, and really didn't take all that long to build. There's the valves all painted up, nice and spiffy looking. Those will end up getting mounted somewhere close to the mixer box that mounts onto the throttle body. Each one of those be controlled by one of the control cables. And then, like I said, 2 of those are going to be the gas lines coming in, 2 of them are going to be air coming in. Once I figure out where those are all going to place underneath the hood and get the cables controlled, then I have 2 dirty cheap AirPod filters from Spectre that'll go on the 2 air supply lines. And the truck's coming along. Got a couple more deck boards on it. Climb up here, I don't fall down. Front rails, front tree are all done. Hoppers on, fire tubes in, heat exchanger bodies on, heat exchangers in. Just got done making the air inlet pipe that goes through right here. You can see it was, well, look down the sides of the pipe. You can see it was a tight fit getting down through there. I left plenty enough room to get the pipe in there from the heat exchanger to the front rail, but then I forgot that I had moved the front rails in just a little bit because I didn't want them being any more forward than the front edge of the frame rail. The frame rail's 2-inch, this is 2 1/4. So the rails came back into the bed just a smidge. Still ended up having enough room. I have the crossover pipe is already in it, and it's siliconed in place, but the heat exchanger isn't siliconed yet. Normally I'll just smear the threads with silicone and run her home, but I just got that fitted up, so I'll silicone those tonight. Then I can put the lid onto the heat exchanger. Have not come across the right bucket for the fill lid yet. Hopefully I can come across one just like I have on the Toyota. I mean, if I get all of this put together and I still haven't found that, I'll probably just rob the whole lid off of the Toyota for now. But everything else is all silicone and sealed up, looking good. You can take into account for anything, but they're always going to be unforeseens. Now, I knew this center rail was close. Like, there's a barrel rib right there. And kind of hard to see, but that rail is really close to the barrel. And I knew that, but I also didn't think about, I've got more room between the hopper and the rail here than I do here. So this one, you can see it had to have a little bit of percussive maintenance to make it clear nicely. There's a little groove in the back where I just took a ball peen hammer and formed it in there around the barrel, but she's good and tight, it doesn't rattle. Hopper drain tube connection, upper drain tube, I still gotta throw the hose clamps on there. All the cooling rails are on, but I still haven't come up with the fin material, and the truck's not running and driving on wood yet, so I'm not worried about painting these. If I come across the fin material, I'll still do that. What else have I gotten done? Oh, the hopper temperature gauge and the crossover temp gauges are now both hooked up. They are set up to come on with the key. Gauges go through their auto cycle, pop up. This one starts at 80, that one starts at 400, so I probably won't see temperature for the first 5 or 6 miles of driving the truck.
Successfully paired.
Oh, shut up, Kenwood. Then I have the wire located at the PCM to hook up the O2 sensor. Just haven't gotten that far yet. Whew. Yep, just tinkering with it every night. Get a little bit more done, a little bit more done, and the only other thing I had to do, obviously because I went with a flatbed, I had to have some way to actually put gasoline in the thing when I need it. So I had to build a fuel filler neck. The stock one would not work in any way that I configured it. The vent line still had to be hooked up just for evap system purposes and stuffs. This is a piece of exhaust pipe that happened to be the right size to fit into the fill hose over there, and it was the same size as the top of the fuel filler neck stock. Well, they originally brazed this pipe in, so this whole end of the pipe up here is just covered in brazing. And by the time I started thinning it down, there wasn't enough room to weld it, so there's a piece of pipe connecting those two. I was able to clean up the vent pipe and just weld it straight onto the pipe. Just bucked a hole in it with a step bit, slid it inside, and MIG welded it around. Piece of pipe over the top and a piece of flat stock that goes up through the bed, and that's where it mounts. A little bit of wiggle, but it's okay. I've already had to fill the damn thing up at $5+ a gallon several times, so that's all working. Yep, just gonna keep tinkering away at it. There's still plenty to do. I've still got a list, but she's coming along. Hoping to be driving on wood here pretty soon. Do need to make a run down south to a friend's house and pick up some blowers hopefully soon. A couple of little details I forgot. So the hopper, 2 pieces, you can see silicone in between, clamped down. The hopper springs, I did the exact same thing I did on the Toyota. You saw me build these pieces. This is just green vinyl sinker nail, a couple tack welds, bend it over 90 degrees, grind the head down just enough that the spring can barely fit over the top of it. It's a little bit of a work. That way if I ever need to pull the lid for anything, any reason, pull the spring, just drop down out of the way. Quick and easy. Got some pretty good spring pressure on it. That'll act as my puffer lid. Oh, and because I had to, I talked about in the last video, I just barely moved the whole bed back. I actually got a minor clearance issue right here with the spring hanger. It's just kissing the barrel. I've been driving it for 3 or 4 days. It's not like really hardcore rubbing, but we're just gonna nip that off right there and clean up the edge, throw a little paint on it. Got, even though I moved the bed back, I got plenty of clearance for opening it up, so I can get inside, do any jar clean outs. I can see my grate right there. You can see it wiggles around real nice. That'll be easy cleaning. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.